Hi, friends. Salespeople, you're the heartbeat of any business that you're in. Your business needs you. You're under pressure. And you want to do your business very, very well. It is a lucrative field. And if you do it well and you do it extraordinarily well, you can be compensated tremendously for being a professional, a pro at what you're doing. But over the years, I have seen what you might think are nuanced things when you hear them that have taken really good salesmen to that next level. So I'm going to assume that you're a good salesman, you know your product, you know your industry, you know how to go about the basics, the blocking and tackling, and you're successful in your business. But I'm going to share with you some things that may appear to be nuanced, but I don't think they are, that I have watched salespeople do that differentiate themselves from being good to great salespeople over the long term. So let's get right into it. I want to start off with a question. Are you easy to do business with? Are you easy to form a relationship with? This is a self-awareness question if you think about it, but I want to pose this statement to you. You don't form a relationship with your customer. You don't do it. The customer allows you to form a relationship with them. And you have to do things to make it easy for them to form that relationship with you. So that's the kind of thing that I'm going to talk about today that will help you keep that door, open that door, keep it open, and get a communication going with that prospective buyer so that they have a better chance of buying from you. Let's get into the very first one. A don't. Don't ever interrupt your prospect. Never, ever, ever, ever do that. When you interrupt, here's what's being thought on the other side. Well, this salesperson may not have heard what it is I wanted to say, so I'm not sure that they really understand what I'm trying to tell them about my business, about what I'm going to do with the product. I needed to get that out, so I'm not sure they really got it. At the very least, that is a distraction to them, to allowing you to go through your sales process the right way. So simply, just let them finish whatever they have to say. Whether you know where they're going or not doesn't matter. It's worth your time and energy and the relationship will bond to let them finish. I am smiling before I mention this one because I love this one. I just think these are the best of the best, the pros of the pros do this and do it very, very well. I've watched the very best salespeople consciously notice the speed at which their prospects are talking and then try to match the speed with which they talk to that prospect. And I've also noticed that those that are good at that are also listening to the volume at which their prospect is speaking, and they try to modulate the volume with which they talk to match the prospect. So the speed and the volume, all they're doing is getting on the same wavelength to be able to communicate well. I've seen a psychological report on this years ago that people listen better and they communicate better and they form better relationships when the communication is on the same wavelength. We're talking at the same speed and we're talking at the same volume. We hear better for some reason. I really believe it's true, and I have seen it work very, very well from the very best salesmen that I've been around over the years. Now, let's talk about the way you ask questions, okay? When you're asking questions of a customer, you kind of want to prepare them for the difficult questions that you're going to ask to be able to make the sale. So how do you do that? You want to build confidence in your prospect that you are in fact listening to them to detail. So perhaps this is a way to do it. Maybe you ask your prospect questions like this. I appreciate you giving me the detail that you have. let me walk back through the third item that you shared with me to make sure I got it right. Would you mind if I walk back through that? Because I really want to get that right. Or, Mr. Prospect, item number 2 that we went over about 5 minutes ago, I think I took good notes, but I'm not sure I understood everything you were trying to get to. Rather than me asking questions, would you just go back over that piece in its entirety for me? I really want to make sure I understand that. When you talk that way to your prospect, you're building confidence that you are going to the extreme to make sure that you are understanding what they're telling you so that you can do your piece of what's going on here right. Now, once you're through that and you've established that, what you're trying to get ready to do is ask the prospect those tough questions that you absolutely need to be able to make the sale. Questions like, who is the ultimate decision maker for this project? What's your evaluation process? Can you give me some of the details? Is this decision ROI based? Is it functionality based? Is this going to be made by committee? Are you using a functional grid to make the decision? Are there budget size limits to this decision you're about to make? How might I be able to help you in your process to make this decision? And then zip it and wait and hear what they have to say. If you've established a good rapport with your customer and he knows or she knows that you are listening very carefully to everything you've said, when you ask these questions, they're going to be more comfortable giving you what you need to make that sale. Folks, let me just say, I have watched super salesmen do this for years. This works. Go get them. Let me just take a moment to tell you how I think I know this stuff, right? This is not academic and this is not anecdotal. This is watching people who were the very best, but the reason I could maybe understand and see what they were doing and put it in context of how it worked was a little bit of my background. I had been a door-to-door salesman in college for 2 summers. Let me tell you, that is the toughest job I ever did. I also worked for a broker, and my boss, Doug, was the #1 salesman for that company for 7 years running, and there were 800 salespeople in that business. That education from him was extraordinary. And then I had an opportunity to work at IBM, and you may know this about IBM, but IBM has a training program when you first come to work with them. I call it the dying blue process. And in that process, they taught us how to sell to the C-level very effectively. It was an amazing training, and I still use many of those techniques today. And lastly, and probably least, I did a lot of selling as a CEO. I would go out with my salespeople probably more than they wanted me to, but I enjoyed that ability to sell across the table with other decision makers. And I saw the very best and brightest and most effective of the salespeople that I had over the years do techniques and things that made them just better than others who didn't do them. So I just wanted to share that with you as a basis for where this information coming. It's experience. It's not theoretical, and it's not academic at all. Now, if you would like to talk to me further about this topic, which I really enjoy doing, please click below for a free session. Also, join our Bulletproof Business community. This is a forum of wisdom and insights from our C-suite and business leader members who are in the process of forming what we call bulletproof businesses or have already done it. As a first step to joining our community, click below to sign up for our newsletter. Enjoy.